everybody, what is going on? I'm going to give everybody some time to join because I didn't plan this. I actually just got back from a walk with my kids. We did a walk. We did a couple of miles. We did a little bit of running. I just got back, and I immediately saw a quote from Eric Chavez, who I love, who I think is excellent, by the way, talking about batting average. And he doesn't want players, he wants his players to not focus on batting average. And you got a lot of response. I respond to this. You got a lot of, your keyboard warriors out there who are, apparently behind a screen. They're 6'5", 230. Absolute monsters. In reality, they're 12 years old and weasels. But without that being said, there's a very, very strange debate going on in the world, in the baseball community regarding batting average and how much it actually matters. So, guys, I'm starting now, but I do want to give everybody a chance to join. So I'll wait a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to go right into it. Look, I could have made this video very easily, just about a regular video. But guys, I'm very much based on who I am. You guys know I'm a reactionary type guy. I like to spit off the top. I don't like to sit back, rehearse shit, and go. And I said with a video like this, it needs to be as authentic as possible, and I got to be just real about it. And I got some stats pulled up and things like that of certain teams that I want to look at. But before we go any further, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to share this. I'm going to see who else wants to join and have this conversation. And again, I'm willing to debate anybody on this topic. But I want to bring this in because I'm also not against analytics. So pause right here. Let me share this out. And then I'm going to tell you why I felt the need to make this video. Because I see what's going on. It's obvious to see what's going on out there. It's a lot like something else that's going on in the world today that we're living in. And I want to address that. Again, NY News, real talk for the real fan. That's exactly what we do here. So let me share this one more time. If you guys don't mind, share this with me. All right, 1 second, guys. Let me just tweet this out real quick. Join me now. I don't hide my thoughts behind a computer screen. Not what we do at NyynewsTV. Let's talk. Bingo, bango, bongo. Let me get that out there, guys. 1 minute, and then we'll jump in here. Let me see what my man had to say here. All right, cool. All right, that's all good. All right, let me get back to where everybody's. Let me see. I got the chats pulled up here. Let's see. Geo fam, I got you on that one. Anyway, this is a video that I hope people are going to go back into. It's 4:19 over here on the East Coast. So I don't expect a ton of people to join right now. But guys, I got to have this conversation. So let me go back to my tweet, and I want to start with those. And then I want to talk about what I'm here to talk about today. So you guys probably already know, too, by what the video is entitled. But here we go. Here's a couple of things I wrote, okay? And I'm going to go over some of those first. Here is what Eric Chavez said. Eric Chavez said, there are certain things that I thought were valuable that are not valuable, like batting average. We're trying to get some of that old thinking out of players' heads. So do you mean all your players? Do you want your players not to focus on a stat like batting average? Okay? Is that what you don't want them to focus on? You don't want them to focus on batting average. Fine. Pause there. We're not going further. Here's what I then wrote after that, and this is what a lot of these nerds and young kids and these weasels behind the screen who masturbate 14 times a day. Nothing wrong with saying batting average is not the only stat to determine a player's value, but saying it holds no value to a player is poor man's thinking, especially when you want your players to not worry about average. That's a recipe for disaster. If your thought process is, guys, we got 9 of you. We don't need you to focus on batting average. that is a recipe for major, major failure. That's the only way to see it. So again, before I get into more of my tweets and the more of the backing of this video, I want to say this. We're in a very, very weird time. We're in an extremely weird time in everything in general, whether it's politics, sports, it don't matter what the hell it is. You have both sides, some very strange on both sides. But you got a certain group of people who feel the need, you can't even enter the debate room. You're not even allowed to have a conversation because I don't like it. I don't like your thought process, so you can't be in the same room as me. That is the problem, is that it's a lot like cancel culture where if you come to me and go, Pete, my opinion is different than you, I'm sorry, I can't have you on my show today. But we're cool. Yeah, but I can't do it. That's the issue you're facing here. So let me tell you my belief off the bat, and then we'll talk about batting average, and we'll talk about on-base percentage, we'll talk about WAR, we'll talk about slugging, we'll talk about all that fun stuff. We'll talk about Joey Gallo, who's actually an outlier. He's an outlier to some of this stuff that people talk about that don't know their ass from their elbow. He's an outlier. I can see Gallo's value. We'll talk about Joey Gallo because he's an outlier. He's not one of the normal guys. I'm very easy on this. I believe batting average matters. I am not one of the guys that said you got to hit 300 to be a good ball player. You can hit 240. You can hit 245. You can hit 250. You can hit 255, 260. 199 for me doesn't cut it. 205 to me doesn't cut it. Is there room for guys who do that on your team? Yes, because a baseball team is not individual players. You got to have a collective group that balance one another out. And guess what? Oh my God, get ready for this. Defense matters in that. On-base percentage matters in that. Slugging percentage matters on that. And oh my God, batting average also matters on that. You don't drive guys in typically with a walk. Was Joey Gallo really valuable to the Texas Rangers who don't get on base much? No. No, he wasn't. Could he be very valuable to the team like the Yankees? Yes. Yes. But that's where his value kicks in, and it's not batting average. His value is not batting average. Johnny, you might get loud in here. Johnny, it might get a little loud in here, fam. It might get a little loud in here. I don't want it to get too loud for you, but it might get a little loud in here, fam. But it's not the only thing that matters. All right? It's not the only thing that matters. We're going to get into some detail about that. Ruben, thank you for the super chat, man. Everything is so extreme in everything. Saying batting average is irrelevant is extreme. It is extreme. Is it the do-all, end-all? No. But look, I said what I said, which said that it's not the do-all, end-all, and I still got attacked for it. That's what we're living in. And again, these are your 16-time masturbators daily sitting behind a computer screen. Some of them are much older than they want to admit, and they're living in their mother's basement doing nothing with their life, but they feel they need to be a keyboard warrior. In reality, they're 5'6", 132 pounds, never lifted a weight in their life, God forbid a woman over their head. So at the end of the day, folks, it is what it is. I'm just going to keep it real with you. So let's go over some stuff. You know what stat I like? And it's also not the do-all, end-all. I like WAR. You know, in baseball today, folks look at WAR and they're like, man, WAR has to do with defense. It just shows your value overall to your team as a ball player. And there's a lot of things that affect WAR that aren't necessarily anything. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that affect WAR that could hurt you in certain ways, right? So let's take a look at this real quick. Let's take a look at a couple of different things, okay? We're going to take a look at WAR real quickly. We're going to take a look at 2021. We're going to take a look at 2021, all right? I'm just going to name you guys some names. These are the top WAR guys, and we're going to look at their batting average. We're just looking at their batting average. Fernando Tatis, 7.3 WAR. He hit 282. Okay? Juan Soto, 6.8 WAR. He hit 313. Vladimir Guerrero, 6.6 WAR. He hit 311. Brian Reynolds. Oh, went to the wrong guy. Brian Reynolds. 6.5 WAR. He had 302. Bryce Harper, 6.5 WAR. Also, he had 309. Trey Turner, he had 328. Marcus Simeon, he had 265. Cedric Mullins. Where's Cedric Mullins go? 5.8 WAR. He had 291. We'll just look at the top 10. Jose Ramirez, 5.8, 266. Bo Bichette, 298. Should I keep going? Should I keep going here? Or should I slow down? I mean, should I keep going? Brandon Lowe, 247. All right. We're already on the top 12. We'll look at the top 15, just for the hell of it. Brandon Crawford at 298. Xander Bogaerts hit 295. Paul Goldschmidt, number 14 on the list, hit 294. And Tyler O'Neill, 5.2 WAR, hit 286. And next on that list is the guy two guys we talked about a lot. Carlos Correa, as you guys know, 277. And Matt Olson, you guys have heard us talk about a lot over here at NyynewsTV, hit 271. Did I name a player at all on that list that hit under 247? Because their WAR would be that high without hitting high. Their value to their club had nothing at all to do with their batting average. I mean, am I saying something wrong here? Is there anything wrong about what I just said? That is the top 15 WAR leaders in Major League Baseball. You can argue that some of these names are the elite of the elite. You can also argue that there's some guys that might hold a little more value than some of these other guys. But I'll tell you what, they're not far off in WAR. Because you can make an argument, right? You say, well, Aaron Judge is really good, right? Aaron Judge is probably better. I might take Aaron Judge over a Cedric Mullins because Judge hits for more power. That's okay, but what's the difference? Judge hit 287. He's an elite ball player overall. Austin Riley for the championship Braves hit 303. So when you're saying it doesn't matter, other stats just kick you in the ass and go, all right, get out the door. You make no friggin' sense. To sit there again and say batting average holds no value is idiotic. To sit there and say batting average is the only value is idiotic. That's not my problem. My problem is with these nutcases that say you either hold my argument or you're out the door. Again, these are the guys who couldn't hold an argument with anybody, especially face-to-face or person-to-person, because most of them wouldn't get on the camera. Most of them wouldn't show their face. Most of them wouldn't have the balls and the nuts and the guts to do something like this. Okay? So that's just a little bit. You're talking about, and a lot of people will say, well, Pete, WAR's not everything. But you can say that about any stat. I can say that about on-base percentage. I can say, well, on my team, I like guys that hit at a 42% clip in the power department, the slugging department, but they bat 205. And their on-base percentage is 300. I think that's more valuable. Okay. For some players, catchers, it might be. For a catcher, that might be more valuable. For a catcher, that might be valuable for that position alone. It might be valuable for a catcher in that position alone. It might be valuable for a first baseman, a right fielder, depending on their team. Again, Joey Gallo. He's the outlier because people want to talk about Joey Gallo all the time, whether it's good or bad. Joey Gallo is an outlier. There is not a lot of Joey Gallos out there that could hit 199, that could bat 199, but hold a 351 on base percentage and a 458 slugging percentage and an over 800 OPS. Now, yes, those numbers were nowhere like that with the Yankees. Overall, his numbers with the Yankees, he batted 160, .303 on base percentage, and a slugging of .404. So look, for the fans out there who either want to shit on Joey Gallo or they don't want to shit on Joey Gallo and say he's the greatest thing that ever happened, here's the thing about Joey Gallo. For the Yankees lineup, he could be very productive. For the Texas Rangers, what did he do? And this is why, if you want to base it off of the individual, that's why we have so many stats to determine value. But you can't base it off of a team. You can't sit there and base it off of a team value and say, well, this team will win the World Series because of that. No, that's also not true. I got the Braves pulled up. You guys want to take a look at the Braves with me? We can look at the Braves together. I'll pull it up right now. I haven't even took a look. I'll pull this up right now. The 2021 Atlanta Braves. Let's look it up. 2021 Atlanta Braves. I'll look up the Astros too. 2021 Houston Astros. All right, we'll go to Baseball Reference. Here we go. The Atlanta Braves. Overall, the Atlanta Braves. Let's take a look. Let's say, what do you guys say? 150 at-bats? Let's look at 150 at-bats because you're not going to determine everybody. Let's see what we got. Let's see how many guys hit around 250. So when I say around 250, 246, 247, 248, I don't think that's a bad batting average, okay? Let's take a look at that real quick. Out of the top 150 at-bats, we'll judge this by at-bats. So let's put that here. All right, 150, we have 13 players. Let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of the 13 hit around 250 or above. Let's look at on-base percentage. What do you guys want to go with on-base percentage? 330? 330 on-base percentage? Okay, that's fair. Top 13 again. Let's do the same exact thing again. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 guys with an over 330 on base percentage. 8 guys with over 250 around batting average, okay? Let's look at slugging percentage. What do you guys say, about 420? 430? We'll do 420 just to be nice. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. Same as batting average. So the guys who hit for average on this club also hit for power. That is a recipe for success. You didn't have many on-base percentages over 330 on the Atlanta Braves. So again, you can pick and choose all day long what stat you like the most. You can pick and choose all day on these stats. Which one you like the most, which one you don't like the most. Gio, thank you. He said, Pete, I agree with you 100%. Did Chavez say what he does believe in, if not batting average? Also hoping the head hitting coach doesn't have that mindset. Well, I'm going to spoil something for you right now. The Yankees, along with many other clubs out there, have this mindset. And it's a poor mindset. And you talk to, look, I know a lot of people say, they talk about like this, it's this old school mentality of the game. And it's stupid. We got to stop with that. Francis made a great point the other day about talking about old school. We got to stop with this. Well, it's old school. Batting average isn't old school. It's old school depending on if you're only using that as a factor of how good a player is. That is wrong. And I agree that that is wrong. But there's multiple factors here. Guys, I'll tell you this. 9 Joey Gallos does not win games. They do not go out there and hammer teams out. They are not going to be a team. You got to have average. Again, Texas. I never pulled Texas up. Let's look at Texas. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? Okay, wait. Let me go back. I want to keep Gallo's numbers up. Matter of fact, I think we covered Gallo enough. So Joey Gallo across the board, a 4.7 WAR. I put a tweet out there also, too, about Joey Gallo. And here's what my tweet says. So let me cover that, too, real quick. So I want to take this in order kind of where we went to. Some guy wrote, Joey Gallo, the nerds love him. He's undoubtedly a good athlete, but he isn't a good baseball player. It's obvious that he strikes out too much. He should consider shortening his swing, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, this guy might be a batting coach. I don't know. Probably not, but you know what I mean? Joey Gallo's good for the team he is with. He could be very good for a team like the Yankees. For Texas, to be fair, he's not good. He doesn't add value besides his player value. He doesn't add value overall to the club. Batting, look, and this is what I wrote. I retweeted what I just read to you guys, and I said, batting 199 is very valuable today, bro. Come on. I take a 199 average and a 351 on base percentage any day over a 290 average and a 330 on base percentage. That's a lie. As you can tell by the best players in the league. As you can tell by what WAR shows you. And again, not the only stat, but it is very, very valuable. It is very, very valuable. To sit there and discredit it and say it holds no value, you don't have an argument. You have a strong belief that you don't want to hear debate because there is too much to debate for it. Even the hardline folks that I talk to that say, Pete, I like these ones more, that's okay. But they don't even say it holds nothing. They'll sit there and say, I think there's just more valuable stats, and that is okay. That's a debate. But when you sit there and say there is no value whatsoever, you're wrong. You're wrong. You are completely wrong. Again, let's look at the Houston Astros. We'll do the same exact thing that we just did. Houston went to the World Series. They're always in the playoffs. This is not a team that bats low. I can tell you off the bat. I haven't looked at the numbers yet, but I know Houston. They're not a team that bat low. Guys over 150. Let's see. We got 12 of them here. Let's see. Batted over 250. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of 12 players with over 150 at-bats hit over 250. On base percentage of 330, right? Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There you go. A correlation. Now it looks like slugging percentage. Again, guys that hit about 430 slugging percentage we'll take a look at. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is a recipe for success. If you mess up a balance by removing any of that in any way, it's not good. It's not good. This is my debate. My debate isn't that other stats don't matter. I'm not that type of guy. I'm not a moron. I appreciate more numbers. I like numbers. I've always been for numbers. But the problem is you can't sit there and just say, this guy's a great player just because of this, this, and that. There's other factors there. It's like me coming out and saying, well, Ichiro would be great for the Baltimore Orioles next year. Not really. He might get on base, but who's driving him in? For an offensive juggernaut to run like Houston was, timely hits like Atlanta, few guys into that hit above 230 something, driving some runs, hit for power. That's how an offense runs. That's how an offense needs to run. Ruben with the Super Chat, fam, I appreciate you. Gallo is great at defense, running the bases, walking, and hits bombs. But hitting 200 really diminishes his value because that won't win in the playoffs. That is what people don't get. Ruben, spot on. But for the Yankees, he could be very valuable batting in the low 200s. Same thing I said about Gary Sanchez or any catcher we get. You guys know, one thing I don't go back on none of my words at all. I tell you like it is. And if I'm wrong, I'll sit here and say, look, I talked to some people and I understand their point and I'm a little more lenient on something. When it comes to these numbers alone, it is not, you can't focus on it the way people focus on it. You can't just say, Joey Gallo does this, this, and this. That makes up for his low batting average. Guys, if Joey Gallo hit 230, he'd be one of the elite players in baseball. Does anybody understand that? And that's what I'm hopeful for Joey Gallo to be good. If Joey Gallo somehow got his average to 235, 240 would be a miracle. His on-base percentage would be 390. Possibly even more. Even if his power numbers dropped a little bit, now you're looking at one of the elites of the elites. That's the debate here. That's the debate here. That's my debate. My debate isn't that your analytic numbers hold more value than batting average. My debate here is that it does matter. especially as a team. You will never win with 9 Joey Gallos. I don't think anybody would debate that. You will never go all the way with 9 Joey Gallos. Look at what the Houston Astros, cheating or not, have done year after year after year. High batting averages, guys that get on base and they hit for power. Few guys in that lineup that hit for power. But they all hit to above 27% of the time when they swing the bat. You do not drive runs in when you don't swing the bat. Walks are valuable. Walks don't typically drive runs in unless the bases are loaded. And how many times do you see that happen in the year? How many times do you see that happen in the year? Where guys are walking with the bases loaded. You don't. You don't see it. You don't see it often. So to me, this isn't really even a debate. This is just, again, the same nonsense that we're seeing with many things in culture and society today. Is that you can't have an opinion. And that's a problem. Look, how do you get 3 outs in baseball? Would you rather have 3 guys that strike out constantly or 3 guys that hit to a 27% clip? Because they hit that way because they typically put the ball in play more. You got to make those 3 plays. That makes average valuable. Is it the only stat that tells you a guy should be good or not better? Because there's hard ball percentage, there's a hard hit rate, there's the BI something, whatever the hell it is, that tells you if a guy was a little more unlucky than somebody else. There's a lot of valuable statistics. That's the thing. There's a lot of valuable statistics here. To simply say, okay, here's batting average. Here's batting average. When I look for players and I look for a team and I'm going to build a ball club, here's what I do with batting average to start. All right. Now we're going to start building, let's see, we'll look at on-base percentage and we'll look at slugging mainly because we want guys to get on base and then homer to drive them in. Okay, Joey Gallo's an outlier. Find me the other guys that bat around 200 that have a 350 on base percentage. Oh, wait. Anybody want to do that research for me? Because I don't want to. I don't think you're going to get too far. I don't think you're going to get too far. So if you want to do that research for me, go right ahead and do that research for me. I don't believe you're going to get too far. Find me the other guy that hit in the low 200s and had an on-base percentage above 350. Anyone? Anybody? I can wait, but I don't think you're going to find them. So, when your debate is to find an outlier, somebody who does something that's not common, it's a bad debate. If your reason is, well, Joey Gallo didn't bat high, and he still walked to a very high clip, and he hits for power. That's why I think a guy like that is more valuable than a guy who hits 280. You're wrong. Because, and you're wrong for one main reason. He's an outlier. You can't debate a rarity. You can't sit there and put on all baseball fans around the world, you're a rare guy. You can't do that. That no longer makes it a debate. That makes you holding up one stat or one player and go, this is why I win, because he did it. Who was the other guys? Who are the other guys who did it? Who are the other guys that did it? I just went through top 15 WAR. We could keep going. I mean, I have nothing to do until a little later today, till I have to work out. Some of you guys behind those computer screens that hide in your mother's basement, maybe you want to start doing that. But I can sit here. I can sit here and wait with you. Hell, that chat box right there is an open invitation for any debate. Anyone? Let's take a look at something else. So we saw Joey Gallo. Let's look at the Yankees. Let's look at our ball club, the New York Yankees, okay? Let's look at the same thing for them. Let's look at 150 at-bats with the Yankees. Look at the same exact thing that we just talked about. How many guys for the Yankees hit over, what was I saying? What did I say? Around 250. Let's start. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the 14, so half of the 14 I mentioned, hit over 250. Let's look at an on-base percentage over 330. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, half of the guys had an on-base percentage over 330. Let's look at slugging over 430. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. 4 guys had a slugging percentage over 430. What does that tell you? The Yankees had half of their players, 14 guys with 150 at-bats or more, that hit over 250 or around 250 and had an on-base percentage above 330 or around 330. They only had 4 guys that slugged high. What does that tell you? The Yankees did not hit for enough power this year, and they could have done a little better, obviously, in average and things of that nature, but the majority of it was power. They did not sting the ball the way they normally do. That is one of the main reasons, based off 3 sets of numbers only. Batting average, slugging, and on-base percentage. I see a debate with Sports Talker and Michael in there. Michael, Joey Gallo's a very good defender. Even if he made, you're just looking at a few of the errors he made for the Yankees in the outfield. Undebatable that Joey Gallo's a very good defender. That's not debatable. That's a fact. And one of the only reasons why his WAR is high is because he's such a good defender too. So that actually kicks in there also. Or high enough as it was. So it's just odd that we even have this type of conversation. And it's not even a conversation. It's like again, it's weird. It's like if that's your mindset, you got to be out of the game. It's the same thing I brought up with old school managers. So to quote unquote old school managers, Buck Showalter gets a bad rap because he's older. How messed up is that? How screwed up is that? Buck Showalter gets a bad rap because he's older, yet he's very adverse in analytics. He's very adverse in numbers. He's always been a numbers-driven guy. He gets a bad rap because he's an older man. What are we doing? Why is society like this? Why are people this way? What are we doing where if my opinion is different, or in manager terms, this guy's a little older, so he's a moron because he can't catch up with things of today? Numbers aren't new in baseball. Some of these numbers are, and we're still evaluating what value they hold. But we're talking like some of these guys don't even belong no more because they don't know what a launch angle is? Why do you think they're idiots for? Why do some of you behind your screen believe they're morons for? Why are they idiots? Why is Buck Showalter bad for baseball today? Why do we get rid of guys that are above 50 or 60 years old? What have we come to and that's okay? Should Dusty Baker pack it in? Does he get a pass? I think Dusty Baker is one of the best managers in baseball in every aspect of it. I think Buck Showalter is one of the best managers in baseball in all aspects of it. I think Alex Cora and Kevin Cash are great managers. They're also analytic guys. But they balance the act. Their ownership believes they are smart enough to do that. What is so hard for people to feel that way? I remember when Tony La Russa was hired. It was a bad hiring because, quote unquote, he was an old white guy. If that is too old for you to go back to and remember, I challenge you to look up Buck Showalter's name and see what the comments were from people. How could the Mets hire an old white guy? So forget about race because just forget about race in general. Because at the end of the day, Dusty Baker's an old black guy. But it doesn't matter. The skin color part is just by ignorant people. Just by simply ignorant people. Ignorance is when you bring that stuff up. He's a great manager. Buck Showalter, I tell you now, is going to be a great manager for what the Mets need right now. Terry Francona is a great manager. Joe Girardi, whether he did some bad things, we saw it up close and personal, is a very good manager. His team didn't get away with shit. He understood, I'm the leader, you're not. You don't hustle, you can sit down. You're not giving your all, you can have a seat. We are in a very, very weird time in life in general. Comedians can't make jokes unless they're canceled. I can't have a different political opinion than you unless we can't talk. I come out and say, well, batting average matters, but other numbers also matter, and I'm called a moron because of that? Because I'm simply saying that batting average is a stat that does hold value, but there's also other stats that also hold value. It's very strange. It's just a very, very strange time that we're living through. And I truly think as just people in general, we got to be better with this stuff. We really do. We got to be better about this stuff. Home runs matter. Slugging percentage matters. All of that stuff matters. Look, I'm one of the people that also said, sometimes you need guys that put the ball in play. Sometimes you need guys that put the ball in play. But teams could also win with guys that strike out. Strikeouts are a part of today's game. You're not going to find many of these guys that aren't striking out a lot. It's also a part of the game. Now it's a part of the game. So you do look at other things. But guys that strike out don't necessarily always bat 200 or 210, 215. Most players in baseball strike out a lot. Aaron Judge struck out a lot. He had 287 with power. He's elite. He's elite. Aaron Judge drops 30, 40 points. He's not as elite anymore. His on-base percentage goes down. His slugging percentage will go down because some of those doubles probably got to go away. It's not going to go down too much. That's the one stat that probably wouldn't drop too much. So, I just wanted to come on and talk about that because it just shocks me that you have so many people today who feel they know baseball more than everybody else because they understand numbers some. And it's scary because you have a lot of that going on in the world, in baseball today, right? You got these young girls coming out of high school, these young boys coming out of high school, going to college. They get out of college and they're running a ball club. You know what I mean? And it's not the only thing. It's not the only factor. So again, there's nothing wrong. Just to sum it up here. I didn't plan on this live chat. Just to sum it up here. There's nothing wrong with a guy. And Michael, that's where you're wrong. So Michael just wrote, Joey Gallo hitting 230 would be horrible. No, it wouldn't. And see, I am not the hard-nosed guy that says you got to hit 260, 270, 280. Batting average to me just matters. There's other numbers that matter. If Joey Gallo hit 230, there you go, sports talker right there. No, it's not. If he hit 230 and has an on-base percentage of 380 or higher, which he would, he batted 199 this year with 351 on-base percentage, hits would increase that. That's terrific. That is fantastic. Especially, look, is it as fantastic for an overall team like the Rangers of last year? Not really. For the Yankees, hell yes. For the Yankees, that would be friggin' terrific. That would be absolutely terrific. Absolutely terrific. Michael, look, I don't care who disagrees with me. That's fine. That's the way of life that we live. Disagreement is okay. By all means, I don't know why, like, I see somebody commenting when they're like, well, Pete, well, everybody has to agree with you. That's not true. Me and Francis had a debate today. Francis is my co-host. We're co-hosts on Designated Spitters. Me and Francis will do the show next time we do the show like it's normal. We'll come on here and have a lively debate like it's normal. There's nothing wrong with debate. There's nothing wrong with somebody disagreeing with my opinion. Some of you might disagree with what I said today. That's okay. I'm giving you my opinion behind it and why I believe it's correct. It's not hard. That's not difficult. Jason, that's right. More hits, usually, typically, better the average. But look, just to pop in my head real quick, when Miguel Andujar was really good, I remember saying, when Miguel Andujar was really good, I remember saying his rookie year and all that, I said, damn, man, if this guy could walk a little bit, this is before the injuries and everything else, if Miguel Andujar could figure out a way to walk a little bit, and I'm going to show you guys why my point is correct on who I am when it comes to this debate and where I stand, and prove my point based on past things I've said. If Miguel Andujar could walk a little bit, he would be friggin' damn good, because he'd probably bat close to 300. He could have a lot of at-bats, he just doesn't walk a lot, so it's a lot harder to keep a very high average. So his 273 would be like 299 if he walked 15 to 20 more times. That would be huge. That would be huge. Anthony Medina, my good friend, says, hey, Pete, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and batting average was very important. Now it seems like there is a mindset that batting average doesn't matter. Call me old-fashioned, but it should matter. Look, Anthony, I'm right there with you. Look, me and my father would have a different opinion on this. My pops would believe if you hit 230, you're not a good ball player. You're not a good hitter. I disagree with that. I don't think it means you're a terrible ball player. You're just a guy, hopefully in that case, you're making it up with power. Joey Gallo, example. But look, there's guys in baseball that hit 220, 225, 230, 235, 240, 25 to 30 plus homers. And to me, that's valuable. Specifically on the team you're playing for. Somebody doing that on the Yankees is a lot more valuable, in my opinion, than somebody doing that on the Royals or on the Orioles or on the Pirates. Again, what value did Brian Reynolds have for the Pirates besides his own? Now you stick Brian Reynolds in with the Astros. You stick Brian Reynolds in with the Braves. Hell, you put Brian Reynolds on the Yankees, and they're probably a much better ball club based on last year's statistics alone. Johnny, great point. Curtis Granderson. Curtis Granderson with the Yankees. Before, Detroit was not a great team when they made the three-team trade and the Yankees got Curtis Granderson. Look at when he came here, 40-plus homers. Didn't bat extremely high. That's a really good point. Let's look up Curtis Granderson. Another guy I was going to mention, if you guys have heard me talk about Estevan Florial, right? You've heard me talk about Estevan Florial. One of the things I say about Estevan Florial is if he could find a way to hit 220, he already walks often. He's a guy who takes a lot of pitches. He walks and get on base. His on-base percentage will be decent, I guarantee it. But if he could find a way to hit 220, 225, 230, he is very valuable to a team, especially like the Yankees. One, he could play defense. Two, he got speed. He's going to steal bases. For the Yankees, all of that's important. Put that on the Pirates, it's decent. It's decent for them. For the Yankees, it will be very valuable. And people will bring up Aaron Hicks. Here's the thing about Aaron Hicks. Hicks needs to, one, prove again he could hit 240, 245, hit over 25 homers. I don't think Aaron Hicks can do that anymore. I think he's severely declined. I also don't think he's a good outfielder anymore. He also can't run the base. He's not fast. And I don't think his defense is what it was. that's the value for me that he loses when people bring up the debate of, well, these peripheral numbers and analytic numbers show he's really good. To the Yankees, I don't think his value's there unless he could do those same things again, and I don't believe he can. If he does, cool. If he comes back next year, he hits 235, 240, 245, manages to stay healthy, manages to hit over 25 homers, manages to have a good on-base percentage like he likely would, I'll tell you, he was valuable to the New York Yankees. I don't think he could do that. But let's take a look at Curtis Granderson real quick. That was a good one. Thank you, Johnny. Curtis Granderson right there. Let's pull him up. If it works for me. Well, I'm getting a bad gateway on Baseball Reference, so let's go back. Let's try it one more time. If not, we'll pull him up elsewhere. Here he is, Curtis Granderson with the Yankees. Detroit in 09, 08, 07. They weren't great teams there, right? You can look at his numbers. He actually had a couple of years where he batted high. You know what I mean? 302, 280. His last year, 249 before the Yankees. 247 his first year, 24 homers. Let's look at the next 2 years. These are the big ones. 262, 41 homers, 119 RBIs, 364 on base percentage, 916 OPS, 552 slugging percentage. You're not going to find many Yankee outfielders since 2011 that had such a good season. Now, if you sit here and drop Curtis Granderson's average 50 points, his on-base percentage now falls to probably about 335, around there, and everything else kinds of fall off. He's not as valuable to some clubs. He still would be valuable to the Yankees. Look at his next year. 232. Average drop, like I just said. His on-base percentage also drops almost 50 points, like I just told you. Exactly like I just said. Exactly. But he hit more homers. 43 homers, 106 RBIs. He was once again an All-Star the year prior. He was top 5 in MVP voting. Okay? His on-base percentage drops 811. His batting average significantly affected other stats that we can say are more valuable than batting average. But the reason they dropped was because he didn't hit as much. Voila. There's no debating this. There's no debating this. This is just obvious. And one thing I don't necessarily like to do in baseball is I don't necessarily like to make things about specific player value only, because a player's value is based on their club. I don't see baseball as an individual game. Now, if I'm just looking at guys' numbers and I'm comparing them to one another, maybe that's a little different, but I don't like to do that because that's not how baseball works. That's not how baseball works. Baseball is a team game. You don't win. Baseball's not like football or more basketball where you go out there in free agency and sign 2 guys and be one of the top 5 teams in the league. Baseball doesn't do it. The Yankees went out there and get Carlos Correa and let's say Freddie Freeman or Olsen. There's no guarantee there's going to be one of the best. There's no guarantee that. There's no guarantee there. So this whole debate, and I'll wrap it up right here, because again, didn't expect to do this. I still got some things to do, still got some workouts to do. This whole debate right here is silly. It's silly. It makes no sense whatsoever at all. It's silly. And again, before anybody flips out and goes crazy and argues about this, this is the debate. Summed up. I like analytics. I like the different numbers. I think if it's anything, it's interesting and fun to look at. I also believe batting average is a stat that does matter to a team and to a player. Is there other things that also matter? Yes. 100%. There are things else that matter. There's no denying that. My beef is if I sat here with you and you said, hey, look at his launch angle. And I said, launch angle doesn't matter. Keep that out. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, on base percentage doesn't matter because if he has a high slugging and he bats decent, who cares about on base percentage? Because more of his hits are going for extra bases. So why do I care about him getting on base? It's a poor argument. You could do that with anything. If that's your argument, it's wrong. I could do it with anything. Again, I could sit there and tell you, rather a guy have a high slugging percentage and bat higher, and his on-base percentage could be jack shit. I think it's more valuable for the guy that more of the balls he puts in play are going to be for more power. Meaning he's probably going to drive in more runs. My argument then is, a walk doesn't drive a run in, so I don't care about it. For me and my team, a walk doesn't drive a run in from second base. I don't care about it. Only time a walk drives a guy in is if this base is loaded. Now, if I have guys with high average behind me like the Houston Astros do, hell, it'll be amazing to have a couple of guys that have a high on-base percentage that walk a lot because they're likely going to get driven in. Because more of the balls I hit in play are going to find holes based off of batting average. This is not hard. This is not hard. It's not even a debate. People make it a debate because they're assholes. And I got to keep it real with you. That's what we do here. People make it a debate because they, for some reason, feel power to be right. Your opinion can be different than mine. A debate doesn't mean it's a right or wrong. A debate means we have two clashing opinions, and that's exactly it. We have a different view of that topic. But to sit there and act like cancel culture goes along with everything in society is wrong. It's wrong of me to do. It's wrong of you to do. Thankfully, I don't do it. Thankfully, if I have a debate, I come right here to all of you and I discuss it. And I give my opinion. And if you're willing to come on here with me, you can do it. You can debate with me live. Doesn't mean I'm going to leave patting myself on the back and saying, I was right, you were wrong. We might leave having more of an understanding and a better agreement with each other. Sounds like something we should do a little more in this country. Understand that not everybody's the same. Understand that we have opinions. There was actually a study a while back where they looked at, I think I read it. I read it a couple of weeks ago. It was actually really good. There was a study a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. I forgot when it was. I think I read it a couple of weeks ago. But it was regarding a pretty good thing. Sorry guys, I just got distracted with my phone. It was regarding a pretty good thing. Basically what it was saying was, when Don Mattingly was hitting so high, Darryl Strawberry was hitting pretty decently, but he hit for a lot more power. So at the end of the day, who was a more valuable guy to their ball club? And you look at it immediately and go, well, Don Mattingly hit 50 points higher, right? So he's probably more valuable. And you break it down. Then you break it down and you go, I mean, if you want to talk about the batting it, but the other dude, let me get to it. I'm sorry, I like to jump ahead of myself. But the other dude hit for so much more power and walked a lot. Donnie Baseball wasn't a walking guy, but walked a lot, hit a lot of homers. So he made a lot more impact to his club. That is the debate. Also, you could look at Don Mattingly and go, well, his team sucked ass. So him batting high might have been a lot more valuable if he was on a team that got on base. If he was on a team who did some other things. You ever hear people say, hey, if we get a hell of a leadoff hitter, that's going to make those guys behind him better? Yeah, because typically they're talking about leadoff hitters that get on base and can move and steal and run and put pressure on. Baseball is not a single stat game by any stretch of the imagination. Baseball is not a game that you can measure based off a certain set of stats. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, guys. So I think I made my points very, very clear here. You know, and also, too, in that article, I believe Mattingly hit like 314 over the time span, and Darryl Strawberry hit like 267. It's really good still. Darryl Strawberry probably was more effective for his ball club. That's not a major difference. The problem is we're talking about guys that hit 199, 200. Joey Gallo is an outlier. Don't make him your argument. Don't make Joey Gallo your argument. Hey, Mambo, Joey Gallo. Hey, Mambo. Don't make him your argument for your debate because he's the only guy. Again, we've been here for an hour. Find me the other guy who hit 200 with an over 350 on base percentage. I will wait. You cannot make Joey Gallo your reason for debating that batting average doesn't matter. You can't do it. Again, I already said what I said about Gallo. If Gallo hit 230, he'd be extremely valuable. So more valuable to the Yankees than he was with the Rangers hitting 200. But guys, I'm always here. I'm always up for debate. And at the end of the day, here I am. Here I am. I'm right here in front of you guys. We can have the conversation anytime you want. We can debate it anytime you want with anybody. We can debate it anytime you want with anybody. My problem is not with you. My problem is not with the guys who believe that there's other stats than batting average that could be more valuable. I agree. My problem is with the people who have to be cancel culture, folks. Because God forbid you have a different opinion. That's who they have to be the same mindset. Because if you could sit here and just say batting average is just gone, it should be wiped clear, you're out your mind. You are simply out your mind, and that's baloney. And that is absolute baloney. Guys, I hope you enjoyed my little rant. It's an open invitation. Anybody wants to debate it, I'm more than willing to have a conversation about it. Don't make Joey Gallo be your outlier, though. Don't do it, you little sneaky bastards, you. Don't you make Joey Gallo your outlier. He's a rare one. He's a rare one. There's not many guys that hit 200 have a 350 on base percentage. Because you can make the argument, well, I do get on base 35% of the time. You could make that argument. But that doesn't necessarily make you valuable. To the Yankees, it might a little more, but you didn't have a 350 on base percentage with the Yankees. It doesn't make you valuable to the Rangers who don't hit or don't drive you in. But if you have a 351 on base percentage with the Yankees, and you could bat 215 even, 220, 230, it makes you a lot more valuable to your team. Again, comparisons of player and player, you can have those debates, but when it comes to a ball club, it's completely different. That's when all this stuff really matters. So guys, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. Tomorrow, we will still have another live chat. I did not plan this one whatsoever. Definitely didn't plan this. We will have another live chat tomorrow. It is a Christmas live chat, so bring your jingle bells. And if it's a live chat with Pete, always bring your balls, all right? Always have your balls ready. Because that's how we just do it around here. It's no joking. We give it to you like it is. But tomorrow we're going to be talking about our Yankee wish list. Who is your Christmas Yankee wish list? Players you wish they can get. How do they get it? How would they make it happen? Is it even realistic? It's just going to be a time for fun, to have a good time, sit back and chill with you guys, have a cup of tea. I'm going to have a nice big cup of tea with me. I'm going to sit back, relax, talk to my favorite people that I enjoy talking to, and we will go from there. So guys, for one of the last times of 2020, I know it's going so quick. I just can't wait for NyynewsTV to get here. Talk to you guys later. Appreciate you for joining. I'm out. Talk to you guys next time.